I can hear something in the background still.
Yeah, you're doing that. That's all gone now. Right, we're live. Okay, so we're gonna have to get this out of the way. Last game of the season. Funny enough, we're playing the champions, and I thought, you know what, let's bring on some guests, people that I actually like, who are Liverpool fans. So please do not let me down. I've got Dej Dot and Ade. Funny enough, they've all got 3 letters in their names. I don't know if it's one of these things that these I don't know. Anyway, welcome guys to the platform. Thank you for joining us, and please keep the boasting to a minimum. I know you guys won the league, you won it all, bloody. Right, we get it. All right, but playing little old Newcastle, so please just all right. But yeah, welcome anyway. How you doing, guys? You all right?
I'm good, Clint, man. How are you, bro?
Blessed, brother. Blessed. Happy to be here.
I'm blessed, bro. Blessed. Happy to be here, Clint, man.
Thank you very much.
He's just enjoying it. These guys are just enjoying it, man.
Let's talk, man.
Look how confident you guys are. Let's talk and all the rest. Yeah, I'm good. You know, could be better. I could be a Liverpool fan, but we're not. We're Newcastle fans, aren't we, Pete? You know, we've got to deal with this shit every day.
It's what it is.
But,
it is what it is.
Yeah, it is what it is. But yeah, big game coming up. Last game of the season. I beg you guys, just take it easy on us, please, because you know you've won it all already. You've got nothing to play for now. Do you know what I mean? Look, I know you've got you got nothing to play for. Lads. Come on.
Yeah, you know, after the trophy presentation, you might be lucky because after we won the league against Manchester, you know, when we played Manchester City, there was some ill effects. So I'm sure Newcastle will be hoping for much of the same. But I think this game depends on the starting lineups. Is Klopp going to take the opportunity to blood, you know, some youngsters? We've got Lewis, we've got Harvey Elliott, we've got Curtis Jones, and I think he might seize this opportunity to give them a run out, you know?
No, I hear that.
I hope so. I've got to be honest. I hope so. I hope you played the reserve team. You're in the 23s. Just give him a run.
I think Salah Mane will be playing. So Salah, I think he's still eyeing up that golden boot. I think he's 4 goals behind Vardy, but knowing Salah, he'll still be chasing it. You know.
Yeah. By the end of the game, it'll be 1 goal in front of Vardy.
I think you're selling your team short. You're selling your team short. Although, to be fair, you guys you haven't got a starting 11. Like, you got no centre backs, so this could be like anything goes. But I agree. I feel like we were accused of having a drink sort of when Man City beat Chelsea. We've definitely been drinking now. I mean, there's no doubt about it. But you know what? With Klopp, and I think the guys will echo me. This guy doesn't seem to like get caught up in it in terms of sort of giving players a chance and giving blood in a young player. This guy always seems to play strongest 11 regardless. But this might be the game where we do get to see a little. I would like to see Harvey Elliott start. I'd like to see Curtis Jones given a run out as well. If Salah was maybe 1 or 2 away from Vardy, I think he'll go. But I think now that he's 4 away and that golden boot, he's not going to catch Vardy. I think he might want to rest as well. And I think because we can't catch Manchester City, we can't break that 100-point barrier. I think it's all kind of done now. So I feel like Liverpool might just rest a few. Maybe even give Lovren a send-off, right? I mean, might do that. So who knows?
Give Lovren a run out. You know, get everyone on. Yeah, Stevie Gerrard getting back. Robbie Fowler, what are you doing?
Look, I encourage this. I'm encouraging this. I'm hoping this is get Matip in, get Lovren.
Hey, Matip's quality. I'm not having that.
No. He's not first choice. To be fair, I rate him because before he was going to you, we were heavily linked with him. So we knew what he was about in Germany. He's a good player, but he's obviously not your first choice. And I'd rather him start than Van Dijk. So I'd say if you're playing Lovren, fine. Throw Matip in there as well. Let's do it.
I think to go back to the point that the lads made, I think the Salah factor is not necessarily the golden boot, but I think is that 20 goals in 3 Premier League seasons in a row, and I think I agree with the boys. I don't think Liverpool are going to turn up tomorrow because I think they've been drinking a lot, and I see Newcastle actually getting a point from the game. And let's be honest, if Liverpool giving a whatless performance, I don't think anyone's going to be complaining because our season is done now.
I like that Dot. Dot's on my side. That's cool. It's all right. I like it. I always thought Dot was the better out of the two. Innit? Kind of a little bit of mercy in it. Like, yeah, give us a. I'll take it all day long. But Liverpool guys, like, how would you guys assess the season? Obviously, won the Premier League, but overall as a whole, like, did you ever think it would come within so soon? Because Klopp's only been there 3 or 4 years. Years maybe.
To be honest, I think in Klopp's very first press conference, he said, "I need to change doubters into believers." And from the day one, I believed. And I told Dej, if Klopp can't win Liverpool the Premier League, no manager can do it. And I was like, he will do it, but he needs time and he needs backing. And this is where we need to give, FSG a pat on the back. I know a lot of them, feel, these owners haven't really invested their own money. They have to sell to buy. But I think the way they've run the club is well, and the structure that they've put in place, with Michael Edwards, Ian Graham, and the rest of the lads, I just think they've done an amazing job. And I think next season, Liverpool win the league again.
Well, yeah, I think
as well. Sorry, go on, Dej. Go on. I echo that. I think it's been a ridiculously good season. I mean, the target at the start of the season would have been the Premier League. Obviously, it wasn't. And I know a lot of people talk about the FA Cup and the Carabao Cup and all that nonsense. The target was the Premier League, and we ticked that target. Did I expect it to come that early? No, because I expected City to push us again, like it was last season. Maybe not that close, but like it was. But I think what people forget is that this team that Liverpool have is exactly the same team we had last season. So, yes, Minamino came in January and Harvey Elliott and Adrian started the season, but that's it. We didn't really go big. So all these players know each other well. They know their characters. Klopp knows their strengths, their weaknesses, and this team was built to go again. I love this team right now. It's like a perfect age. Our best players are sort of 28, 29. We've got young players coming through. This team should win it again. If I look back in 10 years and this crop of players hasn't won another Premier League or a couple more trophies, even a Champions League again, I'll be disappointed because I think it's that good right now. It's that strong. Yes, we need investment. Everyone needs a bit more here and there to strengthen, especially now when players are going to go. But this is a strong Liverpool team. It really is. A lot of people talk about our midfield not being glitz and glamour. I mean, there's more than one way to skin a cat. That midfield's an engine. That midfield is like, honestly, I look at that midfield and all I see is legs and work rate and leaders. Henderson and Fabinho and Wijnaldum are just, put some fucking respect on their name.
Yeah,
apologies. Put some respect on their name.
Yeah, I think obviously going into this season, the Premier League for all Liverpool fans was the holy grail. And boy, did we conquer it in, fantastic fashion. But winning it next season, I'm not going to lie, I'm a bit less confident. If we take this squad into next season, I think you would have to make Man City the favourites. Even though we're winning by, 18 to 20 points, I still think the differential in quality isn't as big as the table suggests. And I think
with Man City's current squad right now, you back them.
Obviously, we know Man City are going to invest. They're going to invest for a fact. We all know that they're being linked with Kalidou Koulibaly from Napoli, Dyer Upamecano from Leipzig. So they're definitely going to sign a centre back. But with regards to Liverpool, I think going forward, if Klopp wants to create this dynasty that everyone's talking about, winning it back to back or 3 times in 5 years, we're going to need to, have some serious investment, in my opinion.
Pete, it's making me feel proper poor listening to all this, isn't it? All of this names, all of this talk about, we're going to win it again. It's
interesting to me. I was fun. I and I a lot of other teams, how they progressed. It's interesting because obviously just
I'm not sure the sound. I'm not sure if it's just me.
Can you hear me?
I think you're cracking up a bit, mate.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, it was cracking up a bit, though, Pete.
Oh, okay. It might be my AirPods. I was just saying, like, it's interesting to me because I do look out for a lot of other teams, and obviously been following that Man City Liverpool sort of rivalry over the last couple of years quite a lot. And it's a big statement to say that obviously Liverpool, you feel strongly that Liverpool will go and win the league again, and they have the team. And you're right, Ade said it. You've got the team to go on and do it, but it's so much harder once you've won it to go and win it again because everyone's gunning for you. Man City, the first couple of times they won the league, they struggled to retain it, and I was adamant that Liverpool were going to win the league this season purely for the fact that Man United are the only team that have won it 3 years in a row. and it's so hard to do. And with Man City constantly stumbling after the second season in, Guardiola finally got to that point only just last season. You know, you were going neck and neck right to the end. It took him to get 100 points to be able to break that. I didn't feel they were going to do it again. But this time, I mean, obviously Man City this year it's been obvious to me from an outsider that they've been gunning for the Champions League. And if they don't win the Champions League this year, they'll see that as a failure. But for me, I think they'll come back hungry. They'll be on it, which is why I think Man City will go out and maybe get 2 or 3 centre-backs. They're going to really come strong because they've got the money to do it. They've got the money to do it. And that was, I think it was Dot that mentioned, how well run Liverpool have been as a club, because they haven't got bags of money to go and throw about. They've had to be really smart with this, with who they've brought and their expenditures and their sales as well. Coutinho being sold to Barca was massive for you guys, because you managed to sort of remold the squad in a way in which you've become so successful now. And so I do think Man City will come back hard next year. You know, going forward, they're always a threat. They score goals for fun, but defensively is always going to be their problem. I personally think that you guys will go for the Champions League again next year. I think you'll really, because a lot of the biggest clubs in the world, and Liverpool are in that bracket, they want to be seen as being the champions, best in Europe. Although you want to win the league, they want to be seen as being the best in Europe. So I think you guys will go hard on that next year.
Here he is, Mr. Fumbi. Better late than never. We're just talking about the golfing class between Newcastle and Liverpool. Obviously, Newcastle are way ahead of Liverpool at the moment. Winning this season. But yeah, so we're talking about what can be when the takeover hits. Remember, Fumbi? Wink, wink, hint, hint.
I don't think it's going to happen. I've lost all faith. We need a takeover because we just don't have a squad that I think that can compete decent next season. The game tomorrow, I just want Liverpool. I don't even care if we win 8-0. It really wouldn't make a difference. I hate Liverpool. I can't stand the whole team. And it's nothing to do with Liverpool. My friends support Liverpool, so they've been winding me up the whole week. So yeah, man, it's just. I just want the takeover to happen. That's all I'm checking for. I've been listening to Danny Mills and them. The whole.
Why listen to Danny Mills for? Fumbi, I told you about this. Stop listening to Danny Mills. He knows nothing about Newcastle. He knows nothing about Newcastle.
If there's a takeover story on a milk box carton, I read it. Just what I'm saying. For any kind of hope. I'm just hoping for anything. Any story I'll take. Because I'm stressed. Really
yeah, so Newcastle fans, what's your take on Steve Bruce? Because I speak to Clint all the time. He's saying, no, he's doing a mediocre job. But looking from the outside, looking in, to be in 13th position, when you look at the clubs underneath you, like Watford, Palace, come on, he should be like top 3 or 4 for the LMA Manager of the Year with the resources that
he has. You know what you're doing, Dej.
What's going on there?
I'm taking offense to that. That's a dig. Man said top 3 for LMA. He's not top 3 for the Newcastle Regional Awards, wherever they have. They ain't top 3 in that.
So what do you make of the job that he's done? What do you make of the job that he's done then?
Okay. So Steve Bruce, look, there are positives there for Steve Bruce. Look, for me, I don't rate him. I don't want to see him in charge next year and next season. However, he came into the club very, very late before the start of the season. It was like 2 weeks before the season started. We already were behind in our preparations for pre-season because obviously Rafa left. It took ages and ages for us to buy him out of his contract at Sheffield Wednesday, and he was on peanuts there. We just made a mess of that, which meant that we didn't start our pre-season until very late. So we had 2 weeks to prepare for the start of the season. So bearing that in mind, and bearing in mind it took us a while to get going, he's done an okay job. I'm not gonna hype him up. It's just okay. He's done what he needed to do. His remit was to keep us in the Premier League. He's done that, and for that, thank you very much. But as I've said many times on our streams, that's the only thing I'll thank him for. I thank him for the fact that he's kept us in the league, because he's kept it by him keeping us in the league. He's given us an opportunity to be taken over. Because if we were sitting where Bournemouth are or where Norwich are right now, the Saudi Arabians would not be interested in us. And for that, we've got to appreciate the fact that he's given us that opportunity, whether the takeover goes through or not, although I believe 100% is going through. But that's as far as it goes with Steve Bruce. For me, he's not a guy that will take us forward. He won't. We got very lucky this season in a lot of games, right? A lot of games where we rode our luck far too much and then hit teams on the break with a lucky goal and then managed to scramble 3 points out of it. And that's been it's sort of been masked over, really, because we've got the 3 points. That's all people look at. But we as fans see the horrible performances, the struggles that we've had to go through, the awful football, going through 85 minutes of a game and not even having a shot on target. It's that sort of rubbish that we've seen under Steve Bruce.
But Pete, we saw that under Rafa as well. So why is there a different standard to Rafa?
First of all, it's a good point. It's a good point, and I get it. Fumbi, go on. You take this one.
First of all, we didn't see any of that under Rafa. What we saw under Rafa was a plan. What we're seeing under Bruce is a hope. I hope this team wins. Bruce is like, Rafa has a plan. Hey, listen, Steve Bruce, he can set a team up. Just what I'm saying, good, English manager. But in terms of tactics, everything we've done this season is thank God we won. There was nothing down to what I decided to do was, none of that. He just hopes those players perform. And that's not run for like another season. Rafa's the manager. Rafa thinks. Bruce does not think. We're 1-0 down, bring on everybody who's up front. Just bring them on. Look, we're being held ransom to Matty Longstaff. That tells you how Steve Bruce has done this season.
Really?
Boy, it's good to be a Liverpool fan, boy.
Like, I'm not going to sign him. That just tells you how much faith he has in Bruce.
But I heard it's like the money that's being offered and he's being linked with a move to Italy, if I'm not mistaken. So obviously,
was it Udinese?
If Rafa was at Newcastle, Matty's signing standard. Even if Real Madrid are coming for him, he's signing. Because he will have faith in the manager. Who's Udinese? Who? Like, he's gonna imagine playing Watford.
You guys watch them on a week to week. I'm just talking as an outsider. 13th in the table. I think you've been a bit harsh on Steve Bruce.
I think Newcastle. I agree. I agree.
Come on. Yeah, that's not the 13th best squad in the Premier League. Let's look at let's look at some of the. I mean, you guys are talking about you playing horrible football. Norwich are playing beautiful football. They're relegated. What do you want? What do you want? You want beautiful football and relegation, or do you want mid-table kind of relatively cool and safe?
Don't worry. Go one step from that. Don't worry about that. Go one step from relegation. Or bring the same football next season, or we'll get relegated.
Yeah, I mean, the thing for me is that. It was the point I made earlier is that we got very, very lucky in games last season. For me, I don't think we're going to be able to ride our luck again. I don't think we're going to have that same luck next season. And if we don't have that same luck next season, and Dubravka doesn't have the amount of standout performances that he's had over the course of this season, we will be where Norwich are.
Yeah, but Pete, Pete, let's say if Steve Bruce is saying, you know what? First year, I built my foundation. I've got some good things. I've got Almiron on the wing. I've got Alain Saint-Maximin on the other wing. Okay, now, if I can build a base in midfield, get better defenders, he can probably progress the team next season. So why are you guys looking at it from a negative point of view?
Are you saying with a takeover, though, or just if there's no takeover? Because if there's a takeover, I'm not worried, innit? He will be gone by October. But if there is no takeover, who is Steve Bruce signing? Like, who's coming to pose with Steve Bruce with the jersey?
So, but that's not his fault. That's
not Bruce's fault, is it? Yeah,
Okay, fair enough.
Like, I'm hearing that obviously Newcastle are in for Tom Cantwell. So let's say if you add a Tom Cantwell into that, front three, that's a dangerous proposition, no?
It is when you've got a manager that can manage the team, that can manage a tactic, which can construct a system that's going to be effective, and not just that. Be in a position to change things when they're not working well. The one thing I've noticed about Steve Bruce is when things aren't going well, there's no change. There's no change. And Fumbi's right. He will just bang attacking players on there and just hope for the best. There's no tactical approach. The thing with Rafa, and you guys will know it because he was successful with you guys, he didn't play outstanding attacking football under you guys. And even the likes of Carragher and Gerrard would say tactically he was one of the best because he would drill you to play a certain way and he would always ensure that results were made. Right, and
okay,
that was
do you think?
Rafa Benitez.
Sorry, Pete. Do you think with this team that you've got right now, Rafa gets you above 13th?
Rafa gets us to Champions League. We're going Champions League with this team. We're not going to go under Rafa, blood.
Come on.
At the end of last season, we were looking like Barca under Rafa. Okay, we were banking. All right. Under Rafa, we would have gone Champions League final. That's what I'm saying.
Oh my god! For me, I think we would have been higher this season. You got to look at the bottom 4 teams currently. You've got Norwich, you've got Villa, you've got Bournemouth, who's
Watford,
Norwich, Villa, Bournemouth, Watford, for example. The only teams that we beat out of that is Bournemouth twice. You look at we haven't beat Norwich. We drew and lost to them. You know,
he beat what? He beat Chelsea.
This is what I'm saying.
What are you looking at the negative? To be fair, with Steve Bruce, I think you have to give him credit. Coming in off the back of Rafa, you know how Newcastle fans are very vociferous, passionate. They were anti-Bruce from the start. So he's had to manage the team on the pitch and manage off the field factors as well. So you got to give him credit, man.
No, especially with the injuries. You guys have had so many injuries.
I hate Liverpool. But they're just giving us tips because they want.
You know why? Yeah. You know why? Because we were sticking up for Roy Hodgson. You know what I mean? We've had Roy Hodgson. I mean, you had Bruce. We've had Roy Hodgson.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You man sacked. Who did you sack that time?
We got rid of Roy Hodgson, and then Kenny Dalglish came in for a little bit. He went. Brendan Rodgers.
Who was before Roy Hodgson?
Rafa Benitez. Rafa.
Right? Can you imagine how you felt when you saw you let Rafa go and
for real. Hands up.
You man had Mascherano that season. Hey, Roy Hodgson was calling him. He said, "Nah, I ain't playing for you, bro. Nah, I ain't going from Rafa. It's not gonna happen." He didn't even come back to training because of Roy Hodgson.
The point that you made about injuries was a really good point. Is because under Rafa Benitez, our injuries were an absolute minimum for those 3 years that he was in charge of us. Because the way he constructed his training sessions, the way he managed players who had slight knocks, for example, and wouldn't maybe start them or wouldn't maybe play them, he constructed that team in such a way to the finest of detail. Steve Bruce has come in and we've had a record amount of injuries this season because his training sessions are all completely, and the players have said it themselves that they've had to. It took them 4 or 5 months to adjust to his training sessions because they're just full out training sessions. They're like training sessions that you'd have in the 90s. Where you just be doing running, and but so he's not moved with.
There was a game where you had like 4 injuries, I think, over the Christmas
Leicester,
period, didn't it?
Leicester, New Year's Day where we lost 3-0, and we gifted Leicester that win. Yeah, but we gifted Leicester that game, and he'd played Florian Lejeune, who had just come back from a cruciate knee ligament, and he played him. I think it was like 3 or 4 games in a row. On his return from injury, no rest.
It's crazy,
right? And by that Leicester game, he was flagging and he made 2 mistakes. In the end, I think he had to pull him off after about 60 minutes because he was absolutely spent. It's that type of thing that we, as Newcastle fans, notice over the course of a season about Steve Bruce that the media don't, and the other fan bases don't see that. And we see all those little bits, and we saw how Rafa managed these players. And yes, he might not have had an arm around their shoulder and been the man manager that Steve Bruce is. And he's done that well with a lot of players. John Joe Shelby being one of them, because Rafa Benitez, if he'd have stayed, John Joe Shelby would have been off to West Ham. He didn't have any future with us. So there are some pluses there. And I'm not saying he's shit and that he's done nothing for us. There are some positives there. But actually, on the grand scheme of things, of how he's managed the squad and how we look at him taking this team forward. I don't see it. And I don't see us having the same look that we've had this season. And going back to the likes of the fact that we beat Chelsea, Man U, Tottenham, and one or two others, we got a point at Wolves, for example, or we drew to Wolves twice, in fact. I don't see us riding our luck against those teams again. Playing against that Man United team that we beat in October last year to the Man United team that I'm seeing now, where they're attacking threat, we won't stand a chance against them. And that's the point. That's the point that I'm making. I don't see us getting that same look. And if we don't get that same look and we don't have the outstanding performances from St. Maximin or Martin Dubravka, I just see us going down. I do. And that's the thing. I don't see him taking us forward.
Before we get carried away about Bruce, because we could be afraid, let's kind of flip it on to Liverpool fans. You are the guests. Let's talk about you guys. How far can this team go in terms of Klopp? Because let's face it, he's done a lot now. Like, what else is there for him to look forward to? Where do you need to strengthen in the summer? If you do need to strengthen, like, those are the sort of questions that you should be answering us, really, because we got all that to look forward to. That's where we're trying to get to. We're trying to aim to your level.
Yeah, it's different. I mean, look, everyone talks about a dynasty, and look, I would love it. As a Liverpool fan, I'd love a dynasty, but I think the Premier League just isn't built like that anymore. I mean, there's too many good teams. Chelsea look good now, and they're going to add Timo Werner. Obviously, they added Timo Werner. They're going to add a couple. United, unfortunately, look very strong. I can't lie to you. If they make Champions League, Pogba stays, then they're going to invest. I'm praying to God they don't make Champions League, because if they do, they're going to be strong. City, we know, are going to be strong as well. I feel like strikers is a scary thing for me, right? I mean, the drop-off from Salah, Firmino, and Mane is too big. Divock Origi done well last season, not so good this season. Minamino's come in, and I feel like it's going to take him time, a lot of time. So I was so upset when Timo Werner went to Chelsea. That was that bridge for me between sort of Origi and sort of the best. It was Timo Werner right in there, young, maybe happy to stay on the bench for a little while and fight for his place. I think Salah, Mane, and Firmino are too comfortable knowing if we fit, we start. And I don't like that. I feel like they need competition. Midfield, everyone talks about that special number 10. I don't know. Again, I think our midfield does a good job. But with Lallana going, there are spaces there. Milner's probably got another season, right? So, I mean, we do need one or two. I don't think we need wholesale changes. But in terms of winning trophies, it's not going to be a dynasty. I hope it does, but it's just the competition's too thick. When Man United dominated, it was only Man United versus Newcastle for a little while and then Arsenal, right? There's now 6 or 7. You chuck Wolves in there as well now. There's 7 teams that can go head to head, and it's just too much to kind of think of a dynasty.
As Ade alluded to, that top 3 that we've got of Mane, Salah, and Firmino, it's a bit like the Harry Kane situation at Tottenham. Which player is going to come in knowing that, their game time is going to be limited? So it's one for Liverpool to think about, but there definitely needs to be an addition with similar characteristics. Minamino is going to come to feet. We need someone that's going to stretch the play. In midfield, I think Naby Keita's that go-to guy. I think if we can get him on form, I think he can take the Premier League by storm next season, because I think we saw the case in point against Chelsea, the way he burst through the middle, very dynamic, and he just slapped it in, crossbar and in. And defensively, obviously, Lovren's going to Zenit and St. Petersburg, so we're going to need cover for that. And Thiago's been heavily linked. So people are talking about maybe Wijnaldum going the other way and Thiago or coming.
Really?
That's
really?
What. Yeah, there's rumors of that. Yeah, there's rumors that.
I tell him, come on, man. Bring him back to Tyneside, bro.
Yeah, I think he's leveled up since then, man. I think he's glowed up. So I think he's going to be getting Champions League, I don't think he want another relegation scrap,
I'm talking about Arab money. I'm talking with Arab.
Come on. Keita's 35 this season, isn't it? Next season, isn't it?
Well, you want to check his passport, but to be fair,
I think we all know that Keita ain't know whatever his study is. Keita easily touch him. Keita's about 31, bro. That's why his legs can't handle
it. Everybody Martins was that.
No, but just to go back to the lads' points, I kind of disagree with what Dej and Ade said in terms of the front 3, because Dej said that is similar to Harry Kane, and I kind of disagree with that, because when you look at Man City, they will play. Once you have that quality, it gives you the freedom to now rotate that front three. So, for example, if we did add a Timo Werner, I'm happy if Salah's sitting on the bench because I know that we have adequate quality in that front three. You get what I'm
talking about in terms of Timo Werner, as Ade said, I've said it several times, he's the bridging gap. Which other players are around that quality that will come in? If you come in, you know, more often than not, you're sitting on the bench because you know Salah, Mane, for me, are superior to you.
No, but that's the point I'm trying to make is that not the point I'm trying to make.
It depends what you're looking for because Firmino doesn't score goals.
Yeah, but we all know Firmino's role in the team. I'm not going to lie.
We'll get out of this conversation right now. Firmino is gone.
Yeah, he's gone. In terms of, I think in terms of his goal record at Anfield, we have to open a dialogue because it's not good enough. That needs to improve for next season. I know he presses, he harries the opposition. But in terms of that goal record, we need much more from, and I think it will come.
You know what it is though, Dej. I think we are in dream world if we honestly think that Salah's going to get 25, Mane 25, and Firmino 20. That ain't happening. One of them's going to take a drop. Like if we really think that our front three is going to get 80 goals or 75 goals in the season, it ain't happening. Right now they're doing sort of 50s and 60s, and I think that's realistic. I think any front three.
In terms of
But the thing is, I think but to be fair, with
hey, what are we doing? How many are we doing? What, 7?
No, but I think to go back to both of the boys' point, Dej has got a point and Ade's got a point. But the thing is, why I kind of agree with Dej more is that Firmino has a lot of chances. If he didn't have chances, then I can say, you know what, he doesn't need to score 20 goals. But he has so many chances where he fluffs these lines. If he converts those, he gets into that early 20s. And that would be, 60 goals across the front three.
I agree with that. I agree 100%. I just
but
love him so much.
Yeah.
There's no way Salah is allowing Firmino to get more than 10 a season. No way. No way. You have a limit, bro. He don't like to pass to Mane, let alone to Firmino.
It's actually, the funny thing is, we laugh about it now because we won the league and we won the Champions League, so it doesn't hurt us much. Salah is the greediest footballer I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
But he's got 10 assists.
Honestly,
I was looking at the assist ranking. He's up there with the assists.
I think he's tried to shoot. I think on those assists, he's tried to shoot.
I was going to ask you guys. Your opinion on Salah because I've been watching him for obviously since he signed for Liverpool, and I've just seen the transformation in him, in how greedy he's become as a player. And obviously last season there was a bit of an issue between Salah and Mane. Where they had a bit of a fallout. I'm not sure if it was like Burnley away. They kicked off with each other a little bit. And I've watched him ever since that point. And particularly against Chelsea midweek, the guy was so selfish in positions where he should be passing the ball. If you're, and he's not. And it's okay having a bit of greed about you. I remember back in the day, Shearer was like that. And Ruud van Nistelrooy, I remember watching at Man United, he was a very greedy front man as well. And you need an element of that. But I don't know whether you guys agree or not, but does there come a point where it becomes counterproductive to have someone like that in your team?
I don't think so, Pete. I think in a great team, you're always going to have that one player that when the team wins 4-0 and that player doesn't score, he's not going to be happy. And that's Mo Salah. You get what I'm trying to say? Sadio Mane is more the team player that, he has greedy moments. And sometimes he is selfish. But if he doesn't score, I don't think he's too fast. Whereas Mo Salah, that's what took him to, 44 goals a season. So if you lose that, you lose half of the player.
No, but I think it's been a situation that's been...
Go on, Dej, sorry.
Yeah, I think it's been a situation that's been simmering under. And I think Mane is at the stage now where he thinks, I'm an elite player too. So let's share around the goals. And I think that's where the difference is. So I think mentality-wise, I think Klopp will have that situation under control. He will sense in the dressing room. And if there's a situation where, Salah is getting too big for his boots, I think Liverpool are in the position now where they can get rid of a Mo Salah and bring in someone else with similar quality and younger, like a Jadon Sancho. Because we have to remember, all three of these players are like 28 now. And they're not going to play every game next season because physically you're going to have that drop-off, So
I kind of agree with you, but I don't think Salah is an ego around the camp. I think when he gets on the pitch, he's thinking, look, I want to put this team to the sword. I want to score. I want to take players on. I just want to do my best for the team.
Issue.
But in terms of being an ego
times.
outside of the pitch, I think he's a great guy. He's
but on the pitch is where it matters. We've seen it several times. Firmino and Mane, they've sort of, what's going on? Pass us the ball. Why are you being greedy? Yeah. It's a team game. You've seen that bubbling on. And as I mentioned before, if Klopp sees that it gets to, boiling point, then Klopp is the ruthless type to say, you know what, on your marches, you need to go into another, club.
And the thing as well, I think Salah's been doing it since his first season, but the difference in his first season is that he got 40 plus goals, so we probably didn't notice it. The last couple of seasons, Salah's missed a lot. I'd love to know his conversion rate. So it's one thing being greedy and missing, right? I mean, that's when it's a problem. If he was greedy and scoring, then we look at it like, it's true. If he's greedy and scoring, we look at it like Ronaldo or Messi, like, well, at least he's scoring. This guy's being greedy and like his conversion rate right now. I mean, he missed one against Chelsea. I was like, if I done that, if I done that, Happy Wick, they'll look at me like, what's going on?
But Ade, he was closer to the corner flag.
But
that one, yeah.
No, but we say all these things. He misses a bag full of chances. He's greedy, but when it comes to the front three, he's our top goal scorer. He's our top assister. He's our top chance creator. And this is for 3 seasons, back to back to back. So I don't understand how people can question this player, because for me, he's our best player.
But you know what it is?
No. One second. For me. Sorry. Apologies.
Go.
No. He's definitely not our best player. Out the front three, I would definitely take Mane. Like, honestly, if they said to me one has to go right now, Mane stays. What Mane does on that left with Robertson is unbelievable. Like, Mane defensively,
but Ade, can I just counter that? Like, I 100% agree that Sadio Mane is a better all-round footballer. But to add another layer to the point is that when I go to that right side and Mo Salah is not playing, we do not win. We don't win. Trent doesn't look the same. Whereas when Mane comes out of the team, we still win football matches convincingly. When Mane was out in that early January period, I think we had Bournemouth away. We put them to the sword 3-0. I think we had West Ham, put them to the sword 2-0 also. Mane wasn't playing and we were still effective.
Let's not forget the games away, like Norwich away, where Mane's on the bench, has to come on. If Mane doesn't 100%. Come on in that game, we do not do anything. I know it's funny because we're both arguing about Mane and Salah. We got both of them. We should be happy.
But
some people are Mane, some people are Salah. Let's just enjoy them both.
Salah, let's not split them. Yeah, I love them.
But Ade, Man United away this season, Salah didn't play. The team struggled. They looked like a shell. Everton after lockdown, Mo Salah didn't play. Couldn't create a chance from the right. So I think when he doesn't play, we do suffer a lot.
No, to be fair, you're right. I think that front three, it's like what we said earlier with that, the way the drop-off is with that front three. And don't get me wrong, I understand what you're saying, but the front three drop-off, and that's what we've been talking about, right? When one of them comes out, whether it be the Ox that goes in or Origi goes in, it's just not the same. It's just not the same.
But you know what I want to say about Salah, yeah? Hold on, is Shaqiri available? We should get Shaqiri, but forget that. You see Salah, yeah?
Take him.
The thing about Salah, yeah, I feel like, when he came to Chelsea the first time, they didn't really respect him like that. And I feel like when he came back to Liverpool, he had a point to prove. And he proved it in the first season. It's a bit like the African. Then when you sign the African player, and he comes over, neat trim, and after 4 goals, he's got the blonde streak in the hair, Gucci handbag, now he wants to play for Madrid. I feel like Salah's that guy now. Like, Liverpool can't talk to him, innit? And I feel like that's how he carries himself. Like, I don't care, I'm the guy, innit? And I think that's the ego trip. But he's still a phenomenal player when he's on job. But I can understand why you'd be like, look, man, this is about a team thing, and I want to win.
No, but when you speak to people inside of the Liverpool corridors, like, he's one of the nicest guys around the training room. As Dot said, he's a cool guy. He's not an ego. But coming into Liverpool, let's not forget he had that season at Roma. I think he scored like 17 goals. So this is a guy that's been on an upward trajectory. And hopefully no trouble within the camp manifests itself, because we love this front three. And obviously we want to see Liverpool continue to win titles, man. That's the name. That's the aim for the next 2 or 3 years, to continue adding to that silverware mantelpiece.
And can I just ask something? Dej, what's your take on Ryan Brewster? Do you think he has a future next season, or?
To be honest, like, I was speaking to someone from his entourage, and they're saying that basically, if he's not coming back to Liverpool to play games, they don't mind taking another loan option. But some of the goals that he's had on loan at Swansea, wow, that boy looks a talent. And I've always said it. People were quick to write him off when we saw him play against MK Dons. Oh, he's not good enough. but give a striker a run of games, like 10 games, and you are able to deduce whether he's got it. And right now, I think the boy's got talent and he can potentially do something, you know?
I guess that's the problem, though, right? He's not going to get run of 10 games, is he? That's the issue. You don't get 10 games.
Yo, stop. Before this turns into the Liverpool podcast, man. I don't want to hear about that.
Man said 50 goals.
Ade's got 3 minutes. Ade's got 3 minutes.
No, I got.
That's what I'm saying. Right. Last question I want to ask. I know it's probably a stupid question, but is there anyone that you're fearful of in the Newcastle squad? Because if we ask the same question, we're probably going to say the whole squad. But for the Liverpool guys,
ask me that question. Ask me that question.
I'm not asking that question,
Yeah, I think obviously Alan St. Maximin, I think with Adama Traore is probably the best dribbler in the Premier League. I think he will probably leave Newcastle this summer because I think he's too good for the club. Unfortunately, I'm not trying to throw shade on you guys, but that's how special of a player he is. Obviously, Almiron is a bundle of energy. I'm not his biggest fan personally because I think he lacks end product. But what I have noticed is that he's really crisp about passing the ball in the final third. So he's obviously going to be a threat with his pace and energy and dribbling ability. But other than that, I can't really see any other outfield threats set for, probably set pieces from Newcastle.
I think Shelvey. I mean, this is a guy, he came onto our platform and he said he's on, in the biggest or best shape that he's been since he's been at Newcastle. I think he's looking leaner, he's recovering better, and he's got the ability to pick out a pass and thread in some balls for our defence. I'd agree with Alan St. Maximin. He's probably Newcastle's biggest hope. And obviously Joelinton, who I know all of you boys love as well as Newcastle fans.
You were talking. I blame Bruce. Dej is on point. Dej is on point right now. Until he started speaking Joelinton.
I'm joking. But yeah, Shelvey. I think Shelvey's another one to watch.
I do agree with what you're saying about Shelvey, and I've mentioned it on a previous stream. And that Shelvey, for me, particularly since lockdown, has improved his intensity of his play. We know his passing ability. His passing ability is there, but his intensity, his pressing up high to the opposition midfielders, it's been there. But as you said, the recovery is a key for me because that's the thing that lets him down or has let him down in previous years. Is that he's okay going forward, but his recovery is back and poor, and we've been caught out many a time. But the one thing I've said, and I've said it to Clinton before, the one thing I see from our midfielders, particularly Shelvey, as soon as the ball breaks down, he's the first one getting back. His first thought is, right, sprint back, get into position and start again. And those little things make the difference. And he's impressed me with that. And if he can maintain that, because that's the problem, he's inconsistent. If he can maintain that over a period of time, a significant period of time, I think we'll get the best out of him going into next season for sure. But he will definitely be a danger.
I love the Shelvey shot as well. I think the Shelvey shot's a good one. When he was at Liverpool, we just kind of looked at him as a guy that could sort of spray those 45-yard passes, but that was it. In terms of mobility, I wasn't too sure about his mobility, but he does look a bit leaner. His mobility is good now. Yeah. So I expect Shelvey to cause us problems. St. Maximin's always going to cause us problems. I mean, like you said, apart from Traore and Zaha, he scares me the most when he's attacking us. You just know he's going to run with the ball. And there aren't that many players in the Premier League that do that anymore. They just run at you and just a couple of step overs. The Premier League's almost become this passing sort of system. He just picks the ball up though and wants to go past a couple. So he scares me as well. But look, that's it really. If I'm honest with you, sorry to say.
Guys, I really appreciate this pity talk. Really do love it. That yes, I really appreciate that. Coming from the champion who are 100 points ahead of us. Thank you for trying to pick out some kind of fear in my team. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Wait. Clinton, let's go around, Clinton, very quickly. Who are you scared of? Are you scared from our team? Who's scared?
No one. Everyone. Nobody.
Everyone. Everyone.
You know what? I'm just glad.
Bobby Fowler, Bill Shankly, all of them. I'm scared of all of them.
You know what? I'm glad this game doesn't matter because we don't play well with Liverpool. I can't take another 5-6 because my friends would just be calling me all night. So I'm glad this game is irrelevant because because Liverpool, if they had to beat us, they would thrash us.
Hey, let's not forget, you scored the first goal against us at Anfield. In that game that we beat, was it 3-1?
That Jetro Williams.
That Jetro, what he done in the move to Trent. Jeez.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I started crying after that call, Ade. I started crying because I knew what time it was.
To be fair, in that game at Anfield, it was Firmino that came on as a sub, and he changed the game.
Oh my God,
that game was going nowhere. Liverpool weren't really causing many problems until he came on, and they produced 2 moments of absolute quality that broke through. And it was 1-1 at the time, I think, when he came on. And those 2 moments of quality won you guys the game. He was fantastic. But answering your question, the three front guys, Firmino, Salah, and Mane, if they all play, they're the biggest threat. And then for me, it'll be Van Dijk, purely from set pieces. Because set pieces we're not good at, and we concede a lot of goals from set pieces. For me, that's where we'll really, really struggle. I would say those 4 are the key ones that stand out. But obviously, as a team, you've got your deliveries from left and right, fullbacks, Robinson and Trent. You've just got attacking threat all over the place. We've just got to try and maintain that. I think Hayden's coming back. He's fit. He's training. He's got the legs. He's got running in his legs. He's had a good season for us. And Matty Longstaff coming back, who can score a goal from distance. Hopefully, we'll have some more attacking threat than we have in the previous games.
Cool. Quickly before Ade's got to jump off, and Pete, turn the light off, bro, because we can't even see you.
I know. I'm going to go and do it now.
Let's get a quick round up of score predictions, because Ade, you go first, and then if you need to shoot off, then just jump out, bro.
Thanks, guys. Yeah, I need to shoot off. I think 1-1. I just don't see us winning this, if I'm honest with you. I think 1-1. I expect Newcastle to put up a little bit of a fight. I expect you guys to score first, believe it or not, and then maybe Firmino off the bench. I don't expect Firmino to start, by the way. Off the bench, do something a bit magic.
Okay, cool. You can shoot off, man.
Peace.
Peace, Ade, man. Take care, bro.
Take care, Ade.
Take care.
Cheers,
yeah.
Go on, Dej. Go on.
I think it depends on the starting 11s. Let's be real. As I mentioned earlier, Klopp might want to blood some younger, Williams, Lewis, in midfield, Curtis Jones as well. So it depends purely on the starting 11s. It could be a drab affair, like a 1-1, or there could be a glut of goals. I'm going to be optimistic and say there's going to be a glut of goals, and I'm going to go for 3-2 Liverpool.
I don't see Liverpool winning this game. I think our season ended after that Chelsea match, to be honest. I think you can see it in the boys' celebration. They're done. They are done for the season. So I think this game will be, if we're lucky, probably 1-1. But I think maybe Newcastle might take it 1-0.
And how poignant would it be that we end the season on 96 points? We've seen the Hillsborough, 96 people died. We celebrated, the trophy with 96 points. So it might just be poetic justice, and we might finish the season on 96. So who knows?
Pete, what are you saying, bro?
Yeah. It's kind of, my opinion is based on 2 different things happening, and it's all depending on Liverpool's lineup. For some strange reason, I've got a feeling they're going to play a lot of the youth players for the reasons that Dej and Dot have said. In that, their last game was effectively against Chelsea, and they've lifted the title. They'll play 1 or 2. They'll play 1 or 2 maybe first team players, like you said, the Lovrens and 1 or 2 others. They might even give Adrian a running goal. I think there's a couple of young players that were only a game away from getting a medal as well. They were like 1 game away from getting a winner's medal. So it might be that they get that game in today to be able to get that medal. On Sunday. So I'm thinking if that gives us an opportunity, because I think we'll go off full strength team with Bruce. I think he'll just go for it last game of the season. However, if you guys go full strength and you play all your top players, then I don't see it anything other than a 3-4, maybe even 5-0. Because the quality, and I'm just being honest, because I just think we've got 1 fit centre back, All the other centre-backs are injured. Okay, we've got our full-backs and our keeper, fine. But I just think you'll just have too much attacking threat for us. And the one thing that I've noticed when we have against Man City, when we've conceded 2 or 3 goals, the heads just drop. And when the heads just drop, the floodgates open. And that's why I can see it. With a full-stroke team, I can see it being a 3-4-5-0. I'm hoping it's not. The one thing that I've got some hope for is that in previous last games of the season, against Chelsea, against Tottenham, when we're in the Championship, we've played teams the last game of the season, we've turned up. We've somehow turned up and been this fantastic team that's put on great performances. You know, last season against you guys, we gave you a fantastic game where it was, I think you guys won 3-2 in the end. It was like a last minute.
Was it
Origi in the last minute?
Yeah.
But we gave you a really, really tough game. It was our last home game of the season. And, you know, there's something about that in recent years where the last home game, we tend to come alive. So I'm holding on to some hope that we have that.
No fans this time, though.
Again.
No fans.
No, that's true. But you know, I'm hoping that we pull out a performance. Hopefully, to say goodbye to Mike Ashley too.
Let's not get it. I just had one more thought before we all go. And seeing as I got you both on the stream, Dot and Dej, I might as well ask you guys about it. So, Jordan Henderson, Football Writers Association Player or Footballer of the Year. Do you think that was the right choice? Considering there's Sadio Mane, Kevin De Bruyne, you know, anyone else. Was he the right guy or was that the PR guy?
To be honest,
I've been bringing this drum for around 2 or 3 months now. And one of the criteria from the FWA is precept and example. And Jordan Henderson off the pitch, he was crucial, you know, in the players' talks during, you know, to give money to the NHS charity. So that's example off the pitch. When you look at Liverpool on the pitch, anytime he's not there for us, we're not the same. And this is a team that's won the title. So I think Jordan Henderson, I think he's got a stigma attached in everyone's head that he's a bang average player. But when you watch the lad, he's made strides over the last year or two. So I think, it was the correct decision, in my opinion, for him to win, you know, the FWA Player of the Year, considering his journey as a Liverpool player as well. He was one of the first players that FSG brought into the club. He's been polarized amongst the fan base. A lot of the fans wanted him out, and he's turned that around. Offered that to Fulham, and he was crying in the hotel to his dad saying, "I don't want to leave," you know, and he's managed to turn that around. So I think there's no more deserving candidate than Jordan Henderson.
No, I think I agree with Dej. Yeah, I think I agree with Dej. I think that Jurgen Klopp in his speech to Jordan Henderson after winning it, it was that he's got a mix with talent and hard work. Because if you just have talent, you will forever be a talent and not a working talent. So I just feel Henderson's journey, his leadership, from when people like Virgil van Dijk, they look up to him and say, look, that's our captain, that's our skipper. I don't think, you know, people on Twitter can be arguing saying that Jordan Henderson is a bang average player when you don't see the intangibles that he brings to the club week in, week out, day in, day out. But in my opinion, I think Trent, I think Trent should have won it personally. I just feel he's taken this right back road to a whole new level, and what he's doing, I don't think we'll ever see again from right back.
Pete, what do you reckon, man? Obviously, outsiders looking in, who should have won it?
Obviously, I don't see the influential impact that he has on the Liverpool team day to day, like Liverpool fans would. You know, he is a very industrial centre midfielder. He doesn't really stand out in games, but he works hard. He does
no, but Pete, that's Pete. But I think that's the stigma. That's the stigma that he's talking about.
No,
when you watch Henderson,
that's what I'm saying. But that's what I'm saying. That I'm talking from an outside point of view. That's the opinion of an outside and non-Liverpool fan. He does a lot of the work that people don't see. People see the likes of Salah and Mane and Firmino get all the plaudits, but they don't see the hard work. Just like a lot of people don't see the hard work that Gini Wijnaldum does. Gini Wijnaldum does a lot of work off the ball in terms of tracking back, as well as getting forward and breaking into the box. You saw his performance against Barcelona last season. And that's what I'm saying. Like, a lot of fans don't see that, and that was the point I'm making. I'm not saying that he's a bad player, because he's not. But the reason why a lot of people are not really for him getting those types of awards is because they look at Kevin De Bruyne and he gets all the plaudits on Sky constantly when he plays a pass through and gets an assist or plays a 60-yard pass or scores a goal in the top corner, and people will say, he should be. And he is probably the best midfielder in the world right now. But for all the points that you've made and for all the success that Liverpool have had this season, it makes sense to give it to the captain, to give it to the leader, the one that set the example for the rest of the players to go on and prove and do what they've done this season. So I can understand it. There are other players out there. I would say Virgil van Dijk has been an absolute monster for you the last 2 years. He's been a monster. He has. I'm not. He is by far the best defender in the Premier League by far. I'm not
in the world. I would even say.
Yeah, or even the world. You could go as far as saying that. Is he the best that's ever played in the Premier League?
Yeah, I think so.
That's a different conversation. But I would say he's by far the best centre-back. And he has been just as influential as the likes of the front three with his performances at the back, because he just makes defending look easy. So he stands out. You've got Alisson, it feels like he's had barely anything to do this season. But again, when he's but that's a sign of a quality keeper, because when he's called upon, he makes fantastic saves and he makes things look easy. Trent as well pulled out some good performances. So there's loads of people you can consider. So I would say he deserves it. Begrudgingly. As a Mackham, I'm saying it very slowly. Yeah, he deserves it.
I think
that's all you get from me.
Clinton, very last one, and I think I'm going to quickly steal Dej's point, but I think the pivotal moment this season for Jordan Henderson, where I thought, you're a worthy winner, is when Fabinho suffered some nasty ankle ligament damage, and we were thinking, wow, we have no defensive midfielder. Jordan Henderson went into DM and the team went up a level. And I think that's just a credit to the guy.
Okay, we'll end it there anyway. No more Jordan.
Clinton, just talk about something else for a couple of minutes, man. I don't want to finish on Jordan Henderson. Please.
I'm going to have a nice think, man. That's it. Because, boy, that Jordan Henderson talking about make me feel ill anyway. Anyway, got the game tomorrow, something to look forward to, I suppose, and then we obviously got the pre-season. Then we'll be back in start September, don't we, in the Premier League? So yeah, all is well. But anyway, enough rambling on. Thanks, guys, for joining me. Thanks to Ade, and obviously thanks for me. He's not coming back in no more. And hopefully it'll be positive for both of us. I'll take a draw all day long. And see you guys all soon. Take care, guys. Thanks for joining us.
Take care, boys.